Okay, I don't need the stand. I don't need the stand right now. I just need to get the, blah. God, my hands feel so giant right now. You look terrible. Hey guys, it's Adam from Tested, and we're doing a model making one-day build today. A nice local one that's all going to take place at this table. Recently, Joey and Norm and I spent a glorious couple of weeks in Wellington, New Zealand with our friends at Weta Workshop, and we did lots of projects together, and we did lots of coverage of cool stuff, which will be going up on Tested in the coming weeks and months. But for right now, I wanted to talk about one of their amazing games, which is this one, Giant Killer Robots. Now this is a Weta Workshop game, and it is a game that includes some, you guessed it, giant killer robots. These beautiful models designed and implemented by the geniuses at Weta. And there is this practice that they have at the workshop in which they take some of the original part castings that made up these robots and they mod and make their own versions of the giant killer robots. So if you go to the model making room, you'll discover that each model maker has several different versions of modded robots. And when I went, they were kind enough to actually make an Adam Savage giant killer robot. You can see it's all greasy, and it says on the backside, "Test this!" And they then further gave me a set of all the raw resin castings of their giant killer robots and asked me if I would make my own version of one. And I said, yes, totally! Kit bashing a giant killer robot? That sounds amazing. And that's what we're gonna do. This is so much fun. This is kit bashing. This is what kit bashing really is. It's like taking model parts made for one thing and looking to see what shapes they kind of awake in your brain and using them to make another thing. So right now I'm just trying to make a roughly similar bipedal gun-toting robot. And so I'm looking to see which parts resonate to me in certain ways that I like. This is the part, oh, that's nice. This is the part of just starting to get to know the pieces. That's really good. So I don't want to even look at the robots anymore. I just want to be informed by what the shapes tell me, you know? I've made my first decision. This will be the head, this spherical thing, and I've attached a pair of goggles to it. So now I'm beginning the personality of this robot, and that's the hardest part. Pretty sure I want those to be the arms, and I'm pretty sure I want these to be the legs, except I really like this as a foot, and I want that as a foot, but I can't find a second one. Those things. Oh, you're wondering what this is. Yes. This is a really cool thing. Clearly, it's a mini disc sander, and this one's Chicago Electric, which means it comes from our friends at Harbor Freight. This is a great model making tool. It's really great to have at your desk, and at ILM, many model makers had these in their personal tool collections. It's gentler than a big disc sander or belt sander, and it is a high RPM, so it just allows you to really goose your parts and get them into the orientation you want. This is an invaluable model making tool for kit bashing. All right, so now I think I have feet. I had to make a second foot to match the first one. I have knees, backwards knees, and I have, I think, a pelvis, and I'm about to start pinning this stuff together. I need just a little extra styrene. Now, I don't know if I'm breaking the rules, given the ethos of making your own giant killer robot, by adding some outside parts, but nonetheless, I am. I have here some styrene rod. These are actually 3 different styrene tubes. And again, if you're going to kit bash, these bits of styrene, which come from a company called Evergreen, and they make long strips of styrene in every profile you want, from long, thin, and flat to I-beam shapes, C-beams, tubes, squares, rectangles, everything. They're in your hobby store. You can order them on Amazon. It's styrene, so it's the same stuff as injection molded parts, and it's the same stuff as styrene sheet like this that you can get from the same kind of store. And it's fabulous for adding pins, and I'm actually going to make some impromptu little pistons out of this stuff as well. Whoops. First step with painting is to set down a primer.
All right, now we let him dry and then we get to painting.
All right, painting time, and I have chosen the color yellow. I know that one of their figures is yellow. It just seems, it's the color that spoke to me about this guy. I think I may give him one blue arm, as if that arm was replaced at some point. You notice that I'm continuing to spread thin coats all the way around this. That's really the key to a nice balanced saturated paint job, is I'm taking my time. And the difference between almost covered with paint and genuinely fully covered is significant. So really layer in. You're not going to try and cover the whole thing with your color on the first pass. You're just going to really keep laying it on in thin coats so don't get any drippies or globs. Like I said, I wanted to give him like one blue arm, as if he'd had a replacement at some point. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna probably be this arm, yeah. Now, some extra details. I'm gonna add in a little bit of silver. I'm gonna add in a little bit of black. And I'm just gonna start to go in and dress up things that need a little dressing up. I'm not sure exactly how much is gonna be black, but I know the antennas are black. So let's make the antennas black. We'll just start right there. You can make that antenna any color you want. The guns are gonna be gunmetal because guns are gunmetal. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Moving forward on our robot here, and I've got some basic, some colors laid out. I did some painting of larger parts, gunmetal for the guns, some high chrome silver for the cylinders and for the pipes going from his guns, yellow for the body. And I dry brushed some of the chrome paint around to make him look like he's been worn out a bit. Now I'm about to add a little bit of black paint at the front of the guns just to see how that looks. I just want to I am now going to go and do a little bit of an acrylic wash on this bad boy. So the whole thing about this is to throw some acrylic on there and then try and peel it back off. And you don't have to be too precious about it. This is dirt, but it's also dirt that's trying to help you visually tell the story. So what do I mean by that? I mean, you look at it and you think, am I able to clearly see all the details of my model? And the answer is, if you're not, go ahead and add some dirt in there until details start popping for you. So I do that, and now all of a sudden that detail starts popping for me. Down here, these transitions, they look out of scale. So I add some dirt, and all of a sudden I add some scale, because now I'm hiding some of the details, and my eye creates interest where those details go a little bit dark. Oh yeah, this is great. And you don't have to be uniform about the application. Like, it's actually good to be kind of random about it, because rust patterns and dirt patterns on machinery can be all across the board. But it could also be because they took apart and repaired it. Q-tip is great. As it deteriorates, it starts to help to spray. Ah, look at that. Okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, we're gonna do that on both feet here. All right, I'm calling it. I think we're good. It's not the best paint job in the world, but it's certainly not the worst. He's a good bot. There's a lot of detail to deal with in him. He fits within the canon. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ship this down to my friends at Weta so that this goes in their collection. They sent me one, they made me one. This one's great, I love this one. So this one belongs to them. Thanks for watching this one-day build, and as you know, the one axiom about one-day builds that is always true is that they always take longer than a day. Oh, hey, and by the way, that's a perfect segue about this t-shirt made by Cotton Bureau that says one-day builds always take longer than a day, is only available for a couple more days. So follow the link below to get your own, and I will hopefully see you on the street wearing one of these.